I come from the eastern side of the world, but mostly I have lived by myself in the west. As a matter of fact, I have never lived independently in my country, and I think most of the Asians can relate to that. In the West, I have lived in the United States for a couple of years and currently I am living in Germany. Both the countries are not as similar as one assumes them to be. Just because they are at the west part of the world and more economically stable, they're completely polar. Polar? Wait, is this even a correct sentence? Anyways, I come from a so-called third world country, so when I travel to these developed countries, I thought they would be the same or at least share some similarities, but I was completely wrong. Here are some of my experiences and my opinions on these countries. Disclaimer: as I said, these are my personal opinions. They can be different from person to person. If they are, I would love to hear them in the comments down below. Right now, I feel like living in the US for me was much easier than living in Germany, mostly because of the language. The weird thing I find here in Germany is that almost everyone listens to English music and watches English movies, but when it comes to simple conversations, suddenly the English turns into Chinese. English? Ich verstehe nur Deutsch. Okay, I'm exaggerating more than what it really is. It's like knowing that what you say can be understood by them, but they choose not to understand and make you understand if they have understood it or not. You understand? It is mostly with the older generation. I think the younger generation has a better understanding of English as a language because of all the social media and the vast internet. The places I really struggled to communicate with people were banks and other official places where I had to have an important conversation with an older German person. For example, job centers, DMV, citizen's office, where I have to register and all the important stuff and so on. The real frustrating thing was, and still is, to hear nur Deutsch, nur Deutsch. I felt like they didn't even want to give an effort unless you can speak or make them understand in German language. Besides that, outside the official workplaces, people are much more chilled and friendly, like my roommates and their cat. I feel very lucky to have found them in the part of the world where I can call anyone of my own. The thing I noticed is that people in America and Germany have a different way of dealing with people who don't understand their language. When you don't understand English, in the United States, people start to speak English very slowly, like slowing down what you are saying is magically going to make them understand. But in Germany, people really tend to make the sentences simpler and give many examples to explain the scenario. I may sound biased here, but I'm not trying to make one sound better than the other. Germans can sound really rude sometimes, but this is just something I noticed. Besides that, the environment in Germany is much pleasing, I have to say. The weather has always been a challenge for me in both the countries. Even if the sun is shining and the sky is clear, it all looks beautiful from the inside of your house. Outside, it's always something else. I think the US weather forecast was much more precise than here in Germany, because back in the US, if the Google weather said it's going to rain in the evening, it usually rains in the evening. Unlike in Germany, where it said there is no sign of rain today, and I went outside and it was pouring. What's up with that, Wetterman? One of the many things that I liked about Germany is the way that they manage their roadways and bicycle lanes. Unlike in the States, where if you don't have a car, it's hard to go around places. And even if the public transportations are cheap compared to Germany, I would say it's not that reliable. Here in Germany, there are buses, trains, and trams, which are like a mini trains that run through the streets. I think the most cost-effective transportation that you can invest in is a bicycle. If you're just going around the city and not traveling too far, bicycles are faster than cars and even taking a train. It was quite amazing to me that most of the places around me can be reached in 20 to 25 minutes with a bike, while with a car or a train it can take more than an hour. The other thing I found interesting in Germany was people just put their things that they no longer use outside their doors or houses so that if someone else can use them, they can take them for no charge, which is an amazing practice in my opinion. They really put the philosophy of one man's garbage is the other man's treasure into practice. Talking about the rents and the costs of groceries, Germany is cheaper compared to United States. Heck, it's much more reasonable than living in my own country. I used to pay over $500 a month for my rents and utensils in the United States, and here it's below $250, which is almost a half the price. However, the things that confused me at first is the way they level food prices in the supermarkets and other grocery stores in Germany. There is the price of a product, and just below the product there is another price in per kilo. This is super helpful because it helps you figure out which product is actually the cheapest. In the United States, you have to do the math yourself or you are easily cheated. It makes sense to me now. But when I was first shopping in Germany, it was really frustrating to choose the products and micromanage my grocery bills. That's all the comparisons I have for you guys right now. I still have a couple of comparisons, but I think it will be too much for just one video. If you guys like the video, support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. We'll try to upload more contents as soon as we can. Till then, see you next time.